Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Dhammaya.
Namo Dhammaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Sanghaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
And this nun and I were having. She was a British background nun, and we were having a conversation, and we were chatting away about what it's like being a nun and blah blah blah, all this kind of usual stuff. And what I actually wanted to know was, I said to her, is it possible to kind of get it, whatever it is, without being a monastic, or do you really have to be a monastic to get it? And she said to me, absolutely, categorically, you can get it without being a monastic. And I thought, it wasn't that she gave me the answer. Actually, what happened was she gave me the answer that I wanted to hear. That's the truth of it. And so that meant, that I then had to. It wasn't like, hooray! I don't have to be a monastic. Hurrah! I don't have to do all those. Don't have to follow that Vinaya and all the rest of it. And of course, nuns have more than men, which I have issues with anyway. But it wasn't so much that. What it actually did was kind of twisted it in a different way, and it meant, okay, so now I've got to go and do it in a different way, haven't I? I've got to kind of find another way of doing this thing, whatever this thing is. So I suppose that was really part of my beginning towards this interest in daily life practice. The other business about focusing too much on meditation, not on anything else, is you get wrapped up in here and not in activity. So let me just read you this. This is one of the stories about Matsu. A monk asked, "What is the essential meaning of Buddhism?" Matsu said, "What is the meaning of this moment?" What is the meaning of this moment? Now, Matsu used to do a lot of teaching about mind is Buddha. And one of his other phrases was, "This place is itself true thusness." This place is itself true thusness. In other words, wherever you are and whatever you are doing is it. This it. So one of my favourite verses out of the Dhammapada is verse 183, which basically says, "Do no harm, try to do good, and purify the mind." Now, interestingly, you don't start off trying to do good. You start off trying to not make a mess of stuff. Okay? And I can live with that because that is so human. And one of the things I really like about Buddhism is it is so human. It ties us into that whole thing about the human condition, what it is like. But if you're looking at this kind of bodhisattva way of life, I look at it that there's kind of 3 layers, and there's probably more than 3 layers, but for the sake of argument, let's look at the 3 layers. There's the work on me. Now, I used to think this was about self-improvement, but I don't think it is about self-improvement, because if you've got to self-improve, there's something wrong with you. And actually, what we have to do is not self-improve, but just touch our inherent perfection, which is a different way of looking at it. So first off, start to touch your inherent perfection. And then the second layer is kind of going out and helping other people. Now, there's a story John Crook used to tell. And he was visiting one of the, I can't remember his name, One of the lamas based in South Wales, very famous lama, he must be in his 70s now. Anybody know who I mean? It doesn't matter who he is. He used to go and have these conversations with this lama. And they would have these incredibly erudite conversations. John was a reader at Bristol University, you know, like very academic kind of guy. And they'd have these incredibly, you know, highfalutin kind of discussions about Buddhist philosophy and all of this. And they were engaged in one of these one summer afternoon, and the Lama just said, "John, let me just ask you something." So he goes, "Yeah." He said, "When were you last kind?" When were you last kind? And to his credit, you know, when John tells you this story, he used to kind of go, "It completely threw me. It completely threw me." So that kind of first level of what I might call helping other people is as simple as being kind. This is not a theoretical thing. This is not living according to rules. This is living from the heart, actually.